Okay, so now we're going to be combining like terms, okay? And first off, we need to know what that means. So to combine like terms is simply to be adding or subtracting coefficients of terms with the same power, okay? And if we remember, power is the exponent. So if I said x to the third, then we call it to the third power, right? And if there is no power there, if we just say x, we have to remember that that means there is a power. The power is 1, okay? So these would not be like terms, which means we would not be able to combine them because their powers are different. Here we have a 3, here we have a 1, okay? So if we take a look at example 1, it says simplify the expression. So all I have to do is I need to find my like terms. And again, that means they have the same power. So if I look, I see that I have 5x, and what I get in the habit of doing is I get in the habit of putting the same kind of thing around them. So here I decided to use a box, and this doesn't have an x, so it doesn't have the same power. So in fact, real quick, does anybody know what the power would be of this one? It's actually x to the 0 power. And I can explain that more in class, but basically it's because x to the 0 power, or any number to the 0 power, equals 1. Okay? But anyways, this one right here, the -5, I'm going to put a circle around it, okay? Because it's a different term than these two. And because now I can see that I have two boxes, I know that I can combine those two. And I'm going to combine them by adding the coefficients. So 5, because that's my coefficient here, and 3, I get 8x. And my -5 here, which is a different term, I have nothing else that I can add it to, so I'm just going to bring it down. So my answer for that question is 8x minus 5. Okay? That's as simple as I can get it. So let's take a look at example 2. I'm going to start off doing the same exact thing. I'm going to look for my like terms, and I'm going to put something around them to make it more clear. So I'm going to start with the box with my x squared term, and then I see another x squared term here, so I'm going to do the same there. And I don't see any other x squareds, so I'm going to stop using the box. I'm going to look at the next one that I have that doesn't have anything around it yet, and that's just x to the 1 power, and I'm going to put a circle around it. Okay? And if I have if it's x to the 1 power, I'm going to put a circle around it. And again, this is just to help me when I start actually combining the terms. And here, these ones don't have x's, so I can't put circles around them. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to put a triangle around these. Okay? And again, now all I have to do is I need to know that I'm going to be combining the boxes, I'm going to be combining the circles, and I'm going to be combining the triangles. So let's look at my boxes. 5x squared and -2x squared. Well, again, the only way I combine is I add or subtract the coefficients. So 5 minus 2, that gives me 3x squared. And actually, since I actually use those, since these get kind of long and they get kind of messy, usually what I do is I cross them out. Okay, so since I use those two to get this term, I'm going to cross those out. 2x minus 2x, well, that's actually 0x, right? And since I just used those, I'm going to cross those out. The thing is in math, whenever we have this means 0 times x. And even though I know that it's 0x, in math, mathematicians are really, really lazy. They don't really like writing things, especially when I know that 0 times any number, no matter what x equals, I'm always going to get 0. So do I really want to say some number, 3x squared plus 0? It's kind of pointless, right? Because otherwise I could just keep saying plus 0, plus 0, plus 0, plus 0. We still get the same answer. So I know I use them, and I could write this, but to be more precise in the way that we usually write things, I'm going to go ahead and erase it, okay? Because there's no reason to write it. So I use those two terms, they canceled each other out, they do not go in our answer, okay? And then finally, I get negative 10 plus 3, and these are like terms, they're both triangles. So negative 10 plus 3, I get negative 7. I cannot combine those, so I know that's my answer. And I did use those, so I'm going to cancel those out. And if I look, I canceled everything out. I know that I'm done, okay? So hopefully with that, we should be able to combine like terms, no matter how long the string gets. As long as you try and stay organized like I do. You don't have to do the boxes or anything like that, it just keeps me organized. But I would suggest crossing them out as you go. That way you can make sure that you have everything nice and orderly and you're not adding something twice when you really don't need to. Okay? This has been combining like terms. Actually, nope, it's not. Because there's still one more example. So, example 3. Same exact thing, now we have something else in here, something that we just learned, which is the distributive property, right? So distributive property says that I need to multiply that number on the outside times all those, and then combine these, right? Because multiplication always comes before addition and subtraction. So if I multiply negative 3x times 3x, and remember we learned that an x times an x, we get x squared, okay? So negative 9x squared, and then negative 3x minus 4, well that's a negative times a negative, so I get positive 12, and I can't forget that x because it's right there, okay? You always want to go back and look and make sure that what you did gives you the answer that you wrote down, okay? So I took care of that. I'm just going to go ahead and bring this down because I didn't do anything to that. But now if you look at it, it looks very similar to the last problem we just did. It's a bunch of terms, and we need to combine all the like terms. So again, I'm going to start with my boxes because I like making boxes. Negative 9x squared and positive 5x squared, those are like terms. And then I have 12x plus 12x, and I have plus 4x. So again, combine the boxes and combine the circles. Negative 9x squared plus 5x squared. Well, negative 9 plus 5, that's negative 4. And then I just rewrite the x squareds. I went ahead and used those terms, so I'm going to cancel them out so I don't use them again. And I have 12x plus 4x. So 12 plus 4, that's 16. So I'm good there. I should be done, right? Let's check. I used those two terms. I have my two terms here. If I look, I can't combine those. So it looks like I am done. I can box my answer, and I should be correct. All right? So finally now, after example 3, we are done with combining like terms.